has a new contract. First 11-win season since 2001 at Tennessee. It's been that long. And that was 3 years after their national title with T. Martin and company. He received a new deal that will pay him $9 million a year, extend him through the 2028 season. Now, I'm happy as I could possibly be for anyone that gets any kind of a contract based on what they've done. But are we seeing yet again, and Josh Heupel seems to be real, that this seems to be legitimate, building what he's doing, but why now? Is anyone after him? Do we know?
No.
Are they bidding against themselves again?
Well, they did it because he's won 11 games for the first time since 2001. So, you saw why they did it. It's in the tweet, but I know what you're saying. It's just so effing stupid that we do this over and over again. Yeah, because, nobody's getting him. He's at Tennessee. He's not leaving Tennessee. Oklahoma's not an open job, his alma mater. Where would he go? Where's he? I mean, unless you feel like there's NFL interest or something like that, which I haven't heard a peep on that. Not that I'm, Mr. Rumor Mill, not Adam Schefter, but I haven't seen even a stupid rumor mill of having him going anywhere. So I don't know. I feel like ADs just get bored and they just have money to burn and they're like, what can I spend it on today? And good for him. Not knocking that he got a pay raise. I mean, deserving guy and all that, but it does seem like let's just spend money to spend money, and there was no real need to add on because there was no real threat to him going anywhere. But, I guess that when somebody does come calling, you got to now bump it up to 11 or 12 a year. And then, he can do whenever he gets a little bored and boarding him. So I don't want to make it sound like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, but it just feels like that's a great example of burning money from an athletic director standpoint when there's no real need to. But, when you've got money to burn and there's even more that's going to be coming in these next few years, get ready because $9 million is going to seem like a drop in the bucket for SEC coaches here pretty soon.
But here's the thing. Let's say he keeps winning. But we've seen before, even when it just seemed like they're going to keep winning. Like Baylor did that with Aranda in year two.
Maybe the institution that he's working at should look to their not so recent past or not so distant past, very recent past, and see that things can change in a hurry. Felt pretty good with Josh Dobbs, a quarterback, didn't they? After that year where, look, they won a couple games. Oh, here we're going to go. And then what you have to do the next year, you had to fire a coach, and you fired a coach, and you fired a coach. So I think Josh Heupel's by and large the best coach they've had in a while and has installed there, but your fortunes can change quickly, and they're bidding against themselves. Like Craig said, they're not bidding against anybody else. They're negotiating against their own offer. But to be fair, if the quarterback's getting 8, then the coach needs to at least get 9. So
yeah, I mean, and that's what they set themselves allegedly $8 million. That's not true, but I haven't seen any reasons to not believe it's not true. You know what I mean? So, like, people say it's not true, but I haven't seen any reason to not believe that Nico Iamaleava is getting like $8 million over 4 years or whatever the case may be. And if that's total bupkis, fine, point me in the right direction. Other than like Vol Dude 24 saying that's not true, because that's the only evidence I've seen that it's not. Now, granted, haven't seen a ton that is saying that it's true, but guess what? There's no documents to look at, is there? There's no proof to be found anywhere because that's how the system is set up. It's set up that way. So it's all just cloudy. But do y'all know when he signed his last extension?
Last year.
Yeah. $5 million a year.
Yeah.
So he's been bumped up another few million.
Let's make this clear. All of us are thrilled for Josh Heupel.
Yeah, happy for him.
Because we would absolutely accept it ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's just that we've seen this cycle where it eventually the odds are almost 50-50. They're going to bite you, and you're going to end up paying $25 million in a buyout, et cetera, because of the fact that something happens and you got to get to somebody else.
I don't question them giving Josh Heupel more money. I just question why do it if you – I understand completely rewarding the guy, but I just don't understand when you already did this last year. And, look, they had an even better season, so you reward him even further. But, yeah, I mean, now he's approaching $10 million. And I have to think that there's probably some of it is just the bragging rights of he's the highest paid this and this, or he's the second highest paid. He's not going to be the highest paid coach in the East Division because Kirby Smart will be. But, I guess.
I wouldn't be surprised, Craig, if Kirby Smart doesn't have some sort of clause that he has to be the highest.
I'm sure he
coach.
probably does.
So he might have made another $500,000 today.
So, anyways, I mean, I don't want to make it a big deal, but it just seems silly, to bump that, because next year then you're going to have to probably do the same, and then so on and so forth. But, yeah, I mean, get ready for the multiple coaches in one conference making probably 10 or up $1 million per year, because he's already knocking on that door, and he's only like the 5th highest paid in the SEC. So that'll just keep going up, and they'll have the money to pay for it, of course. But that's why we are where we are. As much as anything, those coaching salaries and freedom of movement, when you think about NIL and how all that came to be, those are the reasons that nobody's been able to really shoot holes through when you say, well, why can't players get paid the same? There's a prime example right there.
John Boss, who said Tennessee loves Heupel. We understand.
Yeah,
I said, but why bid against yourself? Again, happy for him. That's just the SEC. Well, they've also had some SEC schools that have hired different coaches that have come back to haunt them a little bit, that they almost wish they wouldn't have bumped it up. We'll ask Mac Rhodes about bidding against yourself extensions when a coach does well, and you want to make sure that, and again, last year Baylor did it with Aranda. You had others calling for him, or at least reports or floating out there, and he turned down the opportunities to talk to anybody. We'll get to that with Mac Rhodes at 4:20 today. Now,